Was this really just a simple mistake born of youthful passion? Or is the Forrester-Spencer war finally claiming its youngest victims in a way that's going to change Los Angeles forever? We are watching a brutal collision right now. It is corporate espionage mixed with shattered hearts. But the question I have to ask you today is a tough one. Who is the real villain here? Is it the kid who threw a punch? Or is it the dressmaker pulling the strings of a young girl's future? Think about it for a second. We've seen these families fight for decades. But this time feels different. This time it feels like the parents are using their kids as pawns in a game they never asked to play. Right now, the beach house is soaked in tears. It's not the sunny getaway it used to be. And the halls of Forrester creations? They've turned into a total psychological battlefield. Will Spencer is reeling. His breakup didn't just happen. It felt like a staged execution. On the other side, you have Electra Forrester. She's being backed into a corner by a man she's supposed to trust. Ridge is supposed to be family, right? But is he acting like it? The catalyst for all this mess wasn't just a lack of talking. It was the toxic legacy of the Spencers and the Forresters. Will was essentially clocked by his own family name. He chose to keep the Logan Corporation's secrets to himself. We're talking about the Blue Diamond and that new jewelry line. He didn't do it to be mean to Electra. It was a Spencer instinct. It was about self-preservation. But that triggered a massive chain reaction. Ridge Forrester never lets a crisis go to waste, does he? He stepped into play, surrogate daddy. He essentially weaponized Electra's professional dreams just to cut her ties with Will. Why is Ridge being so protective of Electra all of a sudden? Well, it's not just about her safety. It's about a deep insecurity he has when it comes to the Spencers. By pressuring Electra to choose a side, Ridge is trying to win a war that he and Bill Spencer have been fighting since before these kids were born. The funny thing is, he's the one who shelved her jewelry line. But who does he blame? He blames the Spencers. He's holding the scissors, but he's pointing the finger at Will. Internally, Electra is just drowning. She says she understands, but you can see it in her eyes. She doesn't feel it. When she cried against that front door, those weren't just breakup tears. Those were the tears of a woman who realizes she has no control over her own life. She has to choose between her career and her heart. That is a lonely, agonizing place to be. I see this as a classic gatekeeper move. Ridge frames himself as the protector, but in reality, he's the warden. He's reframing Will's temper as violence just to justify his own corporate bullying. It's a brilliant move, even if it's totally wrong. He's ensuring the next generation stays under his thumb. I have to tell you, I totally disagree with what Ridge is doing. He is being a hypocrite. He's judging Will for eliciting bad feelings, but Ridge is the one causing Electra's misery. He's acting like a hero while he performs a hit job on a young man's reputation. Psychologically, Ridge is operating from a place of enmeshment. He can't separate his hatred for Bill from his advice to Electra. He doesn't see Will as a person. He sees him as a symptom of a virus he needs to wipe out. Now, let's talk about that Spencer temper. Will didn't just wake up and decide to be angry. He was triggered. RJ Forrester walked into his house without knocking. That was a trespass and a provocation. Will acted out because his territory and his loyalty were being questioned at the same time. Will is desperate for his dad's approval. But he also hates the genes that make him want to use his fists. He feels so isolated. Even his mom, Katie, is being told by the Forresters that her son is a danger. He was screaming Electra's name like something out of an old movie because he feels like his life is a tragedy he can't stop. We need to look at this differently. Will isn't evil. He's a kid crying out for boundaries. RJ acted like a savior to a woman who didn't ask to be saved. Will is being painted as a monster for a normal reaction to someone breaking into his space. In my opinion, Will should move on. But not because he's a bad guy. He should move on because Electra is being a hypocrite. Think about it. She demanded the absolute truth from him. But she was off kissing RJ behind his back? That is a double standard that will rot any relationship. This is a textbook case of inherited trauma. Bill Spencer literally told his son he wished he'd inherited Katie's genes instead. Can you imagine hearing that from your father? It creates this idea that you are just bad by nature. It leads to impulsive behavior. It makes you feel like a lost cause before you even start. And then we have the Sheila Carter shockwave. Why did she walk in on Deacon and Taylor? Because boundaries don't exist for her. She wanted to see the betrayal for herself. She's using those divorce papers like a weapon. She doesn't just want a divorce. She wants a Trojan horse. She wants access to Finn and Hayes. Sheila is hurting, but it's a selfish kind of hurt. She feels replaced. That stings her ego more than her heart. Deacon is caught in the middle. He wants Taylor, but he feels this dark responsibility for Sheila. It's a life for a life trade. Sheila is basically saying, I'll give you your freedom if you give me my family legacy. She's making Taylor the middleman in a deal that Taylor knows is impossible. It's poisoning their romance from the inside. I think it's incredibly dangerous for Deacon to even listen to her. You don't negotiate with Sheila. You just try to survive her. If he lets her use visitation as a bargaining chip, he's inviting the old Sheila back to destroy Steffy's life. And what about Taylor's secret? This is the ultimate irony. She's keeping a serious heart condition a secret. She wants things to be normal for Steffy and Ridge. But she's just building a wall of lies. She's helping Deacon with his divorce, while her own heart is literally failing. Taylor is terrified. She went to Europe and came back with no hope. That's why she's so dismissive of Sheila. She doesn't have the time or the energy for this fight. She's living on borrowed time. She's watching everyone argue over business while she holds the ultimate secret. Taylor is like a living ghost right now. She's in the room, but she's already leaving. Her refusal to talk to Steffy isn't just about protecting her. It's about Taylor trying to keep whatever peace she has left. I really disagree with her keeping Lee and the others in the dark. It feels heroic, but it's actually selfish. It denies her kids the chance to say goodbye. It also makes her a target. Sheila is going to sniff out this weakness eventually. Taylor is in a state of trying to control the external world because she's losing control of her own body. It's a defense mechanism. She's managing Deacon's drama, so she doesn't have to face her own mortality. Things are about to get so much worse. Ridge has isolated Electra. He forced her to block Will. He created a pressure cooker. Will is pacing that beach house like a caged animal. And we know what happens when a Spencer feels caged. They lash out. I'm predicting that Sheila is going to go rogue. She's going to realize Taylor won't help her. She's going to ambush Finn. And she might be the one to find out Taylor is sick first. Can you imagine the power she'll have then? If Sheila is the one to tell Steffy that her mother is dying, the leverage will be insane. The consequences of Ridge's actions are going to break the truce between these families. Bill Spencer is already looking for a reason to go to war. Ridge just handed it to him by bullying his son. As for Will and Electra, I don't see them getting back together. Look for Will to turn to Melissa Dillon. She'll offer the loyalty Electra never could. This isn't just a chapter closing for Deacon and Sheila. It's the end of an era. The era where the Forresters could claim to be the moral family is over. So, what do you think? Is Ridge really trying to protect Electra? Or is he just using her as a weapon against Bill? And if Sheila finds out Taylor is sick, should she use that to get to Finn? Or is that even too low for her? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your theories on Sheila's endgame. If you liked this breakdown, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like. We do these deep dives all the time. You don't want to miss what happens when Will Spencer finally steps out of his father's shadow. Let's dig a little deeper into the whiny tantrum some fans are calling Electra's behavior. She threw her necklace right in Will's face. That's a bold move. But was it a fair one? If you look at the facts, Will was right not to tell her Logan's plans. Think about it. They work for rival companies. If Will had told her about Hope and the Blue Diamond, she probably would have blabbed to the Forresters. She basically told Will that he should have tipped her off so she could warn her family. That's not love. That's corporate spying. She wanted Will to betray his family so she could betray him. Will was 100% right to keep his mouth shut. But Electra acts like she sits on a throne of lies. She's demanding the truth while she's hiding her own secrets. She was kissing RJ while she was talking to Will about getting back together. That is the definition of hypocrisy. She pouts when things don't go her way. She wants Will to cherish her, but she doesn't respect him. She doesn't even stand up for him when RJ tries to get him fired. In fact, she encourages RJ to insert himself into their relationship. She treats herself like a damsel in distress and lets RJ play the hero. It's exhausting to even watch, so imagine dating it. And let's talk about RJ for a second. He walked into Will's house without knocking. Who does that? He started nonsense and acted like Will was a monster. RJ and Electra are both so entitled. Electra's default mode is always poor me. She even wanted Will to kick his friend Dylan out to live in her car. If Will takes her back, he's just going to spend the rest of his life groveling. And his parents, Bill and Katie, aren't going to stand for it. They can't trust a Forrester with company secrets. Bill is going to put the pressure on. He's going to tell Will that if he's with Electra, the Spencers can't trust him. Honestly, Will would be so much better off with Dylan. She's loyal. She might even leave Forrester to work with the Spencers at Logan just to be with him. Have you seen the photos of the actors who play Will and Dylan on social media? They look great together. Fans are definitely ready for that change. Electra can go whine to RJ all she wants. Now back to the Sheila situation. She's determined. She's not going to just give up on Finn and Hayes. She thinks she has a right to be in their lives. And she's willing to trade Deacon's freedom to get it. But Taylor is right. Steffy will never agree. It's a stalemate. But Sheila might decide that if she wants something done, she has to do it herself. Pleading with Finn directly might be her next move. And we know Steffy is already stressed out. She's dealing with Hope and Katie, and now this? It's too much. The next 2 weeks are going to be full of crushing news. We've got Hope passing out in the showroom after a fight with Brooke. We've got Carter and Daphne facing some really tough news about their future. The drama in Los Angeles is just getting started. Relationships are under more stress than ever before. Will Bill find out his son is tempted to work for the rivals? Will Taylor be able to keep her secret from Steffy much longer? Ridge is caught between the women in his life, and the tension is only growing. It's a mess, isn't it? But it's the kind of mess we can't look away from. Stay tuned, because things are about to get even crazier. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more bold and the beautiful updates. We'll be here to break it all down for you. See you in the next one. She sat on that information while Cassius was out there duping people Jason cares about. She even kept quiet while Cassius kidnapped Jocelyn Jax and threw her into a room at Windmere. Can you imagine the betrayal Jason is going to feel when he hears that? He asked her to be honest about everything she was up against, and she still left him out of the loop on something as personal as his own twin. The question we all have to ask is, why would she do that? Britt has that scheming gene in her DNA, right? Even when she wants to be good, her instinct is to protect the Faison legacy, or at least her version of it. She might have thought she was protecting Cassius, but in doing so, she actively endangered Jason's world. Jocelyn was kidnapped and ended up in a bloody battle on Spoon Island because of the chaos Cassius and Cullum were causing. Jocelyn now blames Cassius for everything. When Jason gets back and sees the cleanup from the mission, he's going to realize that Britt's lack of transparency made her a liability. He may even hold her partially responsible for what happened to Jocelyn. And for a guy like Jason, family and loyalty are everything. If you lie to him about his brother, you've basically told him you don't trust him. This brings us to Jason's new priorities. He isn't just a hitman or an enforcer anymore. He's a father. He's the only parent Danny has left, and he's starting to realize that his choices have come at a great cost to his son. Danny needs a dad he can actually count on, not one who is constantly cleaning up Britt's international messes. The spoilers are really leaning into this idea that Jason is going to rearrange his entire life. He might even quit the mob and leave Sonny's organization behind for good. If he's looking for peace and a fresh start, then Britt is the absolute last person he needs by his side. She's a drama magnet. Between the kidnapping charges she's facing for taking Rocco on the run and the fallout from the WSB, she's just too much baggage. The funny thing is, while Britt and Jason are heading toward this shocking split, the rest of Port Charles is basically on fire. Carly and Valentine are out there sharing passionate kisses while Sonny, Lulu and Charlotte watch in total shock. Sonny is so pissed about it that he's actually getting Brooke to help him sabotage their relationship. And poor Lulu? She's just found out that Carly was hiding Valentine in her house for months. It's a mess of lies and secret alliances everywhere you look. It makes you wonder if anyone in this town can actually tell the truth for more than 5 minutes. Do you think Jason is looking at all this and thinking, I need to get out while I still can? It sure seems like it. Britt is facing a new low when she gets back. She's being held accountable by her own mother, Liesl, for the secrets she kept. She's getting the britch treatment from Carly, who is definitely not happy to see her back in town. She's even getting into it with a newcomer named Tristan Roberts right off the bat. It's a rough time to be Britt Westbourne. The writers are asking, what kind of life remains ahead of her? And the answer might be a very lonely one. If Jason walks away, she's lost her biggest protector and the one man who actually saw the good in her. It's the ultimate irony. She's healthy enough to live a long life now, but she's destroyed the one relationship that made that life worth living. And let's talk about Cassius for a second. Z, played by John Oliver, has given him a choice: the death penalty or work for the WSB. If Cassius stays around as a WSB puppet, he's a walking reminder of Britt's betrayal. Every time Jason sees him, he'll think about how Britt kept the truth from him. It's a constant thorn.